Does anyone remember an old PC game that was from the early 90s called Mr. Mix? It was mainly a typing game, similar to Mario Teaches Typing, where you have to type words into a box to make the chef, the titular Mr. Mix, to put the ingredients in the bowl. Unlike most typing games, however, this game was notorious for having an insane difficulty curve. The game was a words per minute requirement for each level, and being as low as 10 on the level 1, as high as 85 on the third by the level by 5, the requirement rate reaches over 500, effectively making it impossible to proceed any further. One of the main things that people noticed about the game immediately was the background music. The music was on the first level was unsettling patterns of growls and not only got progressively louder as the level went on, often causing damage to early computer speakers that were designed to handle extremely high volumes of sound. The second level had no music at all, and the third one that had set sounded extremely low quality, recording something reading out of a hairdryer playing in the background. The remaining two levels have been extremely loud, high-pitched ringing throughout the level that caused some severe eardrum damage to those managed to get that far. Another rather disturbing aspect of the game was the designer of Mr. Mix himself. He was a large, round-faced, overweight man with large, beady eyes and red spots on his cheeks. Most children who played the game reported having a vid of the nightmare of Mr. Mix speaking into them in some quiet, raspy voice and threatening to keep them quiet about something. However, none of them could remember exactly what it was. One psychologist who saw many of these children reported being disturbed by the sheer amount of terror on their faces of the children as they have encountered the details of the nightmare. Many of the children broke down into tears in the process, begging for their parents to save them. However, no one directed relationship into the game itself could be determined by these few cases. Not all children suffered the same advertised effects. For obvious reasons, this game did not sell very well and remained relatively obscure for up to a few years ago when PC hackers got a hold of the ROM of the game and started to dig through it. Using the memory hacking software, they managed to crack the game's code and bypass the impossible fifth level, and what they found was extremely disturbing and caused many of them to quit the explanation altogether. According to the reports of these hackers that left behind, the game behaves very strangely if the fifth level is bypassed. The game crashes violently and closes, writing a bunch of files to the user's system 32 directly to the point where the RAM was almost completely filled. These files were reportedly pictures of people with horribly deformed faces, appearing to be screaming in pain and agony, with their eyes appearing to be bleeding from their tear ducts and even outer layers of the skin torn clean off in multiple places. If the user attempts to delete these files, the computer will violently crash and the blue screen, causing the permanent irreparable damage to the user's hard drive. The hackers found this to be caused by the lone byte in the game's ROM triggered with the fifth level was completed. After removing this byte, they were able to proceed to the sixth and final level. Unfortunately, all the original hackers decided to discuss what they saw in the final level. All of them became extremely paranoid and reclusive, refusing to talk about anything related to the game, showing astonishingly extreme symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD for short. Most of them ceased to be able to inherit the sentences within a week, and within a month of all went missing. All remaining copies of the game were destroyed. To this day, no one still knows what was in the game that caused them so much psychological damage. Maybe it's better that way. 2 years after this incident, a man was arrested for trying to kidnap an 8-year-old girl from the grocery store. Through DNA fingerprint analysis, the man was identified as one of the original hackers who viewed the final level of the game. He was wearing a white chef's hat and looked unspeakable malice and insanity on his face. When interrogated, the man will only say one thing: "I'm Mr. Mix." Shh. And that, my little pretties, was Mr. Mix, a PC game creepypasta. My final thoughts on this story? Well, I actually have to say I really enjoyed this pasta. This pasta, I'm definitely going to be honest that when I actually heard of this story from, Mr. Creepypasta and a narration from Creeksmith Pasta, I decided to, go ahead and read this story. And I do know that in this story, it's pretty believable and interesting too. And I think I might have played this maybe in school once or something. I don't really remember because it's been like years since I played the game. I might have played it back when I was younger, but I honestly just don't remember because it's been quite a long time since I last sat there and touched the game. I don't think I might have played it when at one point as a kid. I really don't remember because it's been quite a long time. But I definitely would have to say this game was a pretty good concept for what this one is. It's a really good pasta for the whole concept of what this really is. Really would have to say this one definitely has a great opportunity of this great concept. Now, I think I kind of watched this at one point, but yeah, but anyways, I still find this one to be, an enjoyable story. Like it's believable, it's creepy, it's not cliched or anything like that, not like most creepypastas. I know this is like an older story, but there was like it's like really, messed up, especially with, the whole concept of how this story went out and all that. So I definitely would have to say it's definitely something. I'm not gonna lie. This is definitely a story that I would recommend you all check out if you haven't. It's something. I'm not gonna lie. It's a pretty something story that I'm gonna be completely honest. I haven't read this story in like a while. I think I might have read it before I had a YouTube channel. Like I think it might have been I did have a YouTube channel but at that time, but I didn't really what was it? Oh yeah. I didn't really wasn't really interested in reading this story, but I really found this one to still be a pretty good one. In fact, it actually had a pretty good concept for, how this went out. Like I really do like the fact that there was a lot of time and effort into the story, such as the grammar, the sentence structuring, the storyline, basically everything that went out was just flat out amazing and really interesting with what how this went out. Like I really do find this story to be, pretty good, but I also would have to say it's actually a pretty good story for what this one was, is. I really do find this one to be, pretty nice and really well done. I'm definitely saying that now that this story actually has a really good, concept. Now, um, the grammar of the story was pretty good, along with the sentence structuring and the storyline. It's believable, I'm gonna definitely say that. But, it's been quite a while. I think I might have read this one once at one point, but probably just wasn't really a fan of it. I really don't know why, but there was for some reason I just wasn't like a fan of the story. I honestly can't really remember what made me not like this story, but for some reason, I did not care for the story at one point, but now I actually found this one to be, quite amazing. And I'm not going to deny that. This one actually had a pretty good, concept for the story. It was pretty good, to be honest, too. Like, I'm not going to lie. It's actually a pretty good story. So, with that being the case, that being said, I'm going to sit here and wrap up this review. I'm gonna sit right here and say this right now that um I can't find out who the original author is, so yeah, it's gonna be listed as anonymous for now. If I ever find out who the original author is, I'll be sure to give him or her proper credit, as this story seemed to be, pretty interesting for what it is. It's a really good pasta. Really do have to say it's pretty interesting. I really do find this one to be, quite amazing and enjoyable. So yeah, that with that being the case, that being said, this is simply my own personal opinion. You happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these creed pastas. This is just simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of this story would have to be a 10 out of 10. A great gaming pasta. It was really well made in detail. There's definitely a lot of time and effort into the story. I really do like how, the concept of this story went out. It was well written and made, and I really have to say, it's a really good classic gaming pasta. So, there is definitely that. With that being said, what did you guys think about this creepypasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you all not? Also, what you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Feel free to leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you're new to my channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload, so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out.